Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. After a whole month of working on other stuff, I've finally made it to my Undertale OC video. Today I'll be going over your guys' Undertale original characters and giving them ratings out of 10. I'll talk about their designs, backstories, powers, and personalities. Now, I've got a ton of emails from you guys, so I sadly wasn't able to cover all of them, but I got quite a handful for you all today. There's some really interesting and creative ones, and there are others that are, well, interesting. Well, whatever's in store, I want to thank all of you for sending me your original characters. It takes guts to show people what you've created, and I appreciate all your submissions. All of you should be proud. Each creator will be credited below their OC's photo, and if you didn't send me a photo of your character or you just don't have one, I will be creating my own interpretation, so get ready for that. Now, I do have some bad news for some of the creators that sent me their characters. I apologize for not sending the email out earlier, but I emailed many of you guys saying that I needed usernames to credit your guys' OCs, and I don't think a lot of you would appreciate it if I gave out your full legal names in a YouTube video. So unless told otherwise, I will not be providing credit to people who have not given me a username. But I will credit each creator in the description, and if I get an email about usernames after I finish editing, I'll just add them to the description. Also, if you're an artist watching this video, I highly encourage that if you see an OC you really like, make some fan art of them. If you email me art you drew of an OC from the video that you liked, I'll feature it in future videos. I'll flash my email on screen right now for OC submissions and fan art submissions. I may make a part 2 of this. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Bendy Sans was once a human animator that was transformed into an ink demon through the ink machine, and because the souls of Bendy Sans' universe worked identically to the souls of the Undertale universe, he became a monster with a human soul. Bendy Sans has the face of Bendy from Bendy and the Ink Machine, a devil's tail, gray pants, a belt, and either a suit or a trench coat. The drawing makes it a little hard to tell. He also wears black boots, a white undershirt, and a tie. This character also has a variety of ink-based powers, which can be fired at Mach 1 speeds. Bendy Sans can create ink geysers, which replace typical gaster blasters, small little ink minions, ink portals, and some sort of ink domain expansion-esque ability that forms ink all around him. He's also incredibly difficult to physically harm due to his body being made out of ink. Despite being a monster made out of nothing but ink, all Bendy Sans wants is a human friend to make puns and get into mischief with. Bendy Sans is a very interesting OC, and it's surprising that I've gone this long in my YouTube career without mentioning Bendy and the Ink Machine. Or maybe I did, but I don't know, it's been a while. I'll be giving Bendy Sans a solid 6 ink pens out of 10. KingDustBelief Papyrus is an OC that's a mix of Disbelief Papyrus and Dustbelief Papyrus, which are two timelines where Papyrus just locks in. But one of them is just more murdery than the other. The creator did specify that they made this OC before they knew about both of these AUs. The creator also didn't give me a picture, so I will be showing you all a photo of Papyrus with a little crown on his head. Anyways, KDB Papyrus was able to retain small bits of information each time the human reloaded a save, and witnessed the human kill Sans and Snowden after Sans caught on to the human's murders early. After failing to convince the human to stop their murderous ways, KDB Papyrus flees to Asgore's palace, killing as many monsters as he can to gain their strength and leaving Endin alive to hold off the human. When the human finally reaches Asgore's throne room, due to Papyrus's warnings, the king actually puts up a better fight, and although he doesn't win, he buys Papyrus enough time to both inject himself with determination and absorb the 6 human souls. Because the souls knew what the human was doing, they didn't rebel against Papyrus, allowing him to defeat and take the human soul, becoming a god. After being crowned the king of monsters, he breaks the barrier and ends up traveling to other universes, killing the human in each and every one, even the pacifist ones, due to his belief that they'd eventually partake in the genocide route at some point. In the end, KDB Papyrus became the protector of the Omega timelines and rescued those caught in genocide run timelines. KDB has access to sold power gaster blasters that ignore invincibility frames, with each blaster having 3 different modes: Slaughter, which makes them the size of trucks and deal massive damage, Eradication, which makes them the size of skyscrapers, and Interstellar Erasure, which, you guessed it, makes them even bigger. Anyways, a very interesting Papyrus AU. especially in his reasoning for killing innocent pacifist humans. The fact that he's so paranoid that they'll eventually do a genocide run, that he'll kill them before they even have the thought in their head, is actually crazy interesting. Anyways, I'll be giving this OC a plate of spaghetti out of 10. Globbit, the very hastily named Froggit, is, as you probably guessed, a Froggit. It dons a very fancy top hat and has the very powerful ability to eat a lot of dirt. Yep, that's it. This original character gets a clump of dirt filled with worms out of 10 from me. Leon is a small yellow monster that lives on the outskirts of Snowden. He's got a strange fixation on guns and actually prefers fighting over talking. He's also not very keen on taking things seriously. Now, in my opinion, my favorite kind of OCs are the random side character monsters, because not only are they charming, but they seem like they could fit right into the world of Undertale. A small yellow monster that's obsessed with guns could make a quirky little NPC in Undertale Yellow. Anyways, Leon gets a yellow pigment out of 10 from me. Hollow is a wise tree that lives in the ruins and has been around for decades, witnessing a lot of interesting events. It lives off of magic, and if Hollow somehow stops producing magic, it'll die and become a regular old tree. Now, this is a fun and quirky OC that I really like, but I feel like he should be centuries old instead of decades, because Asgore and Toriel are anywhere between 500 to 2,000 years old. That way, Hollow can really see some stuff go down. Anyways, a really solid OC that gets a wise mystical tree out of 10 from me. Sad Flowey is Flowey, but really sad. Literary genius right here. You know what? This OC gets a happy Flowey out of 10. Hazel is a brown-eyed, ginger-haired human with the soul of perseverance. She dons an orange and white striped shirt, wields a cracked baseball bat, and has an ability that allows her to see 2 seconds into the future. Aster is a brown goat monster with the ability to use blue fire and wields a frying pan to cook things with. Together, these two go on adventures in a time before the monsters were sealed away by the barrier. Overall, a what-if concept of a human and what I perceive to be either Toriel or Asgore's ancestor is a really cool concept. This OC duo gets a photo of the batter out of 10. Robert, better known under the moniker Bob the Gun Dealer, is a stubby human-like monster that enjoys selling guns. He's got protective goggles, a hat that's either a frying pan or a gun, it's hard to tell, stubby Kirby legs, and wields a large pistol. He probably has even more guns that I don't know about, but overall, a really fun looking OC. He'd also probably get along with that gun-obsessed monster Leon. I'll give this monster a picture of Kirby's feet out of 10. Golemu is a monster from the Story Shift AU and replaces Froggits as a common monster. They got 4 attack and 5 defense and have only 1 goal in life, to become the strongest. With how happy-go-lucky they are, this might be a hard goal to reach. However, due to being made out of rock and clay, a human can easily mold the clay part of their body to make them even stronger. Before being given a makeover, Golemus have a blocky body, a large head with a giant smile on their face, and what looks like to be a fuse or a straw on their head, I'm not sure. After their makeover, they look exactly the same, but their arms look more gorilla-like. Overall, a super cool monster OC that I can definitely see being in a fan game. I can already see the options check, mold, challenge, and flex when you press the act button. Overall, Golemu gets a photo of Harambe out of 10. Now, this is a very interesting OC. What if Papyrus snorted a suitcase full of cocaine before the human fell? Honestly, I'm not actually sure if anything would happen since he's a skeleton, but the author claims it would make Papyrus much more powerful. Cocaine Papyrus versus KingDustBelief Papyrus. Place your bets, people. Also, please don't do drugs. Anyways, this OC gets 3 Minecraft sugars out of 10. This isn't really an OC, it's just someone who emailed me that they hate Muffet and killed them on their first playthrough. Now, I do love Muffet, but this was a really funny email to get. Besides, I'm not really the Muffet guy. Merg took that title a long time ago. This OC gets a gaggle of really angry spiders out of 10. Soulfire is what I can only assume to be a monster with a blue head, a really buff body under their red hoodie, and black legs. They can shapeshift, pull out comedically large objects from their pockets, universally travel, and can break the 4th wall, presumably with a large hammer they pull out of their pocket. The creator told me that they have 80 different backstories made for Soulfire due to their indecisiveness, so that's the score I'll give them, 80 different backstories out of 10. Shady is a mysterious monster that just appeared in Waterfall one day without any memory of how she got there. She spent her initial time in the underground skulking around, trying to make sense of her new environment, with monsters spotting her describing Shady as a strange shadow, giving her the name Shady. It was later discovered by Alphys that Shady had an abnormally strong soul, almost as strong as a boss monster, and after getting nowhere with questioning her, Alphys gives Shady a home in exchange for running tests on her soul. Shady has a very similar appearance to the river person, but she dons a purple cloak instead of a dark blue one. She also has white eyes with a very subtle red tint. Shady is quite skilled in both fire and illusion magic, allowing for her to manipulate her stats, making them seem higher than they actually are. She is also able to change around the menu during an encounter as well. What I really like about this character is that she's supposed to be the reincarnation of Kara, and was made to be the exact opposite of Flowey. With her being a monster with a strong soul instead of having no soul, alongside having no memory as opposed to remembering everything. There's a lot more to this amazing character, and if the creators watching, make a full video on her. Shady's a really cool character that a lot more people should know. Overall, Shady gets a cryptic message from the river person out of 10. Raphael So Cool 16 is a pretty cool dude. That's about it. He's also a Roblox character. This OC will be getting a Roblox death sound out of 10. Omega is a mysterious creature that was injected with determination, bearing a striking resemblance to the determination extractor in the True Lab. It holds itself together with wires and other mechanical parts that it stole from Alphys. Although you aren't supposed to fight Omega in a pacifist route due to them not waking up fast enough, in a genocide route, it will aid Alphys in evacuating the monster population and kills Muffet in order to fully block off the humans' route. Because remember, part of the Hotland wasn't blocked off due to Muffet's refusal to leave. Omega will then confront the human right before they reach the elevator to the Judgment Hall. During its fight, Omega turns the human's soul gray, forever pushing it towards whatever direction the arrow keys point. Omega attacks using walls of stone and other science-related abilities. When the human inevitably hits Omega, it flees to the Judgment Hall, still surviving due to the determination injections, and during Sans' fight, will take potshots at the human to aid Sans in his efforts. Overall, a neat character that gets a very generous stone sliding sound effect out of 10. Copy Papyrus is yet another Papyrus OC that was the first ever Papyrus ever conceived. Sadly, however, this Papyrus was discarded by Toby Fox, sending him to an area that exists outside of the game, hidden within the files. When discovered, his sprite was cut to pieces and destroyed, prompting the player to manipulate his files, bringing him back to life, kinda like a Frankenstein situation. But due to poor coding, Copy was full of gaps and errors. After returning to life, all Copy could think about was finding his brother because he had something important to tell him, but he couldn't remember what it was. After entering the game and realizing that he was simply thrown in the garbage and replaced, he flies into a rage, breaking everything and absorbing powers of other monsters through the game files, causing the entire game to collapse in on itself, sending Copy back to the abyss once more. Copy's abilities are reflections of his own messed up body, with his gaster blasters being extremely unstable and prone to exploding, and his soul manipulation is extremely glitchy, giving players souls other soul abilities besides blue. Copy Papyrus also dons a large coat, along with an undershirt, and either a bowler hat or a fedora. His Berserk mode, however, shows off his disgusting and disfigured form, with the determination extractor right smack on his back. Also, due to the files being corrupted and unfinished, it's hard for Papyrus to show emotion, due to him not having the right sprites for it. Overall, a super cool concept for Papyrus OC, who gets a glitched out plate of spaghetti out of 10. Kayla is a human OC that resembles their creator. Yep, they're certainly a character. The sprite art is really neat though, so I'll give her a sprite of herself out of 10. Fabio is a man-made horror beyond my comprehension that kills people and acts like he heroically tried to save them. He's also a demon in disguise, which yeah, makes a lot of sense. Fabio gets a holy cross out of 10 because he scares me and I want him to go away. Flora is a young human that fell into the underground. They live happily within monster society and acts as a farm assistant to a farming monster. Despite living relatively peacefully with the monster population, Flora still tries their best to hide from the royal guard, as being caught by them definitely means death. Flora's entire character design revolves around a buttercup and orange motif, with them having long flowing brown hair, an orange beret, a brown and orange striped shirt, black leggings, and orange boots. Overall, a really awesome design, and I can definitely see this character living in the underground, just in hiding though. This OC gets a beautiful Stardew Valley farm out of 10. Eye-Dol is a large mutated eyeball with telekinetic abilities. They don a large purple bucket hat and use their telekinesis to always have a large purple and black base underneath them. They also wield a microphone, as it's their dream to become a famous idol in the underground. Honestly, other monster idols who decided to pursue their dreams thanks to Mettaton is a really cool concept for a character. We need more monster idol OCs. Anyways, this monster gets a Prunsel out of 10. If you know, you know. Midwestern Republican Frisk is a version of Frisk that voted for Donald Trump, drives a Ford F-150, and instead of a knife, they wield a goddamn Civil War musket. They don overalls, a straw hat, and Air Jordans for some reason. Oh, and they always pick the genocide route. This OC gets a musket for home defense out of 10. Dark Luigi is an OC that's a cross between a Mario character and an Undertale character. After resetting a genocide run that the main character regretted, the world became corrupted, with the developer of the game having to grant Dark Luigi maximum stats in order to stop a greater evil. With such powerful stats, Dark Luigi acts as an AU protector and recruits others to his cause as well. This one was a hard one to talk about because the English was translated from French due to it being the creator's main language. But overall, still a very solid AU. And it gets a photo of Luigi glaring at the camera out of 10. Tryhard Frisk is a Frisk OC that's an outcode, meaning they stay outside of their original AU and are active in more than one multiverse. Anyways, Tryhard is a fusion between two different Frisks, one that completed a genocide run and one that no-hitted a true pacifist run. Before they fused, they hated one another, battling it out before being fused together by Ink Sans after he hit them with a cannon that fuses people together. After being fused together, this new Frisk entity made it their goal to kill every godlike Sans in the multiverse because of what they did to them. The duo also both originated from the same exact AU called Trait Tail, which is a universe where Frisk can absorb the traits of monsters they encounter. Due to their fusion, Tryhard absorbs traits tenfold, granting them way more power than they originally thought, with the duo being able to fly thanks to the Integrity Soul. They can also access any save point across the spanning multiverses, and they both have special Super Saiyan forms called Ignite forms from before they fused together. Overall, a very interesting OC that has a ton of intriguing concepts surrounding it. Fusion, taking people's traits, it's all very interesting, but also very Dragon Ball Z-ish. The creator also stated that they made Tryhard because they were sick of all the OP Sans they use all over the place, and made them out of spite. Honestly, mad respect. This OC gets a photo of Gogeta and a photo of Vegito out of 10. Eli is a human OC with the gray soul of disgust that fell into the underground and decided to just kill everyone. But unlike Frisk's genocide run, Eli is unsuccessful in their efforts and is locked away in a remote part of Hotland for their crimes, in a place that housed the underground population's various criminals. But even the monster criminals knew to stay away from Eli. Overall, a very interesting spin on a human OC, along with adding a prison that's located in Hotland, which makes a lot of sense. Hotland is by far the most technologically advanced area in the underground, and the two toughest royal guards besides Endin are stationed there. This OC gets a very nice 4 spoons out of 10, you know, to break out of prison with. Alex is a 19-year-old human girl and takes Frisk's place as the 8th human to fall into the underground. She grew up in a small dead-end town with a drunk for a father and an abused mother. Feeling trapped, Alex turned to alcohol for solace at a young age, which was devastating as she once vowed to never be like her father. But with the use of alcohol, she was starting to take his path. Anyways, after self-destructing and coming to the realization about the path she was taking, Alex climbs Mount Ebit to escape her old life, which lands her right smack in the underground. Within her time in the underground, she begins to form a relationship with the ghost of Kara, viewing Kara as a kindred spirit due to their shared soul and background of abuse. Toriel is also an interesting dynamic for her as well, as although Toriel can show Alex the love she most desperately needs, trying to trap her in the ruins would be extremely dangerous, as her whole reasoning for being in the underground in the first place was to escape the feeling of being trapped. Only be trapped in one place forever or risk death. Alex has pale skin, brown hair with forehead bangs, red eyes, a blue sweater with an orange stripe, blue pants, and purple shoes. She has the power of the determination soul, but unlike Frisk, has very self-destructive forms of determination. She may be able to keep moving forward no matter what, but the determination to keep a wall around herself to keep others away from her heart is a problem she faces. Despite the self-loathing, alcoholism, and the fear of becoming her father, Alex pushes forward in a new environment in order to live a good life. Overall, an incredibly deep character that deserves a comic made about her. And if the creator's watching this video, dude, put Alex's story on your channel or social media platform or something, because it's really good. Overall, Alex gets a genuinely warm hug out of 10. Farzentale is an AU based on the time of the Human and Monster War. In this universe, the magic expelled from the two armies' battles was way too much for the Earth to handle, causing a catastrophe known as the Great Calamity, which shattered the entire world, killing the humans due to their magical abilities being less attuned than their monster opponents. Due to the magical eruption, the monsters in this world grew even stronger, and in the end, only 2 humans survived. One that decided to help the monsters, and one that just woke up from a coma, unaware of the events that transpired. Because of this calamity, the world became a massive assortment of floating islands, and that's where Farzentale begins. Overall, a really interesting spin on a what if the monsters won the war scenario that honestly deserves a cool fan game made about it. This AU gets a Minecraft Skyblock out of 10. Harlow is a half monster, half demon OC that's the son of Dolv, the bat dude from Undertale Yellow, and a character I remember shooting in the face when I first played the game. Don't judge me, it was for content. His mother is a large demon lady with a snake for a tail by the name of Arya, who also rides around on a giant cloud, which is badass. Harlow has purple skin, yellow cat-like eyes, long dark hair, a large horn on his head along with 2 bat wings. He wears a black puffy jacket, a white undershirt, gray pants, black shoes, black corrupted hands, a necklace with a weird symbol on it made by his mother, and a massive scar across his face like Crocodile from One Piece. Overall, a really cool Undertale Yellow OC that gets a cloud mount out of 10 because that cloud transportation thing is awesome. Fortitudo, or Forte, is a quote-unquote Sans OC that replaces him in his universe. Forte appears in the Underwarped AU and holds the soul of bravery. Despite being a human, he doesn't want to admit he is one, and after watching Sans die, vows to take his place to protect Papyrus. Forte actually committed many genocides before due to his ability to reset, which eventually led to him gaining Sans' powers. After getting bored of genocide, however, Forte decided to live with the monster population in peace as a friend. Overall, another good interpretation of a human character who gets a photo of a little German boy out of 10. He actually looks so much like the ones in the memes, it's crazy. Jay is a chill dude who lives in the void all alone. He likes making video games and hopping through dimensions, and the best part of all is that he's blue. The creator actually has a scratch game they made about Jay, which you should definitely check out. Link will be in the description below as always. Anyways, this OC gets a scratch cat out of 10. Catherine, or Kathy, is a small teardrop-looking, ghost-like creature that acts like a tutorial character for Undertale accessibility. A project that aims to create a version of Undertale that's, well, accessible to people with visual, auditory, and movemental disabilities. This project will include voice acting, cool animations, and orchestral music, and you should definitely check it out, and give your support. The link will be in the description below. Anyways, Kathy is a creature known as a phaser, which are small incorporeal beings capable of going through anything unless it's moving, which actually works in-universe because blue things phase through non-moving objects. Kathy is an anagram for the word teach, and much like her name suggests, she loves helping people and teaching them about the world. She's very bubbly and happy, but prone to being sarcastic sometimes. Overall, a very cute and fun OC, and one of the few without a tragic backstory. Like I said before, give Undertale accessibility a look, because it really deserves more support. Kathy gets an extremely high blue attack out of 10. Cheese Rolse is Rolse if he was covered in cheese, with all of his magic just being him spraying people with liquid cheese and throwing cheese blocks at people. Very neat. This OC gets a very generous provolone out of 10. Lewis is a young man who comes from a long lineage of sorcerers. In this universe, monsters never existed, meaning that no war ever occurred. Because there were no monsters in the picture, humanity turned their paranoia and fear towards the few humans who are capable of using magic, causing the non-magic users of the world to begin forming witch hunts to eliminate these sorcerers from the world. Due to the numbers difference, the wizards secluded themselves into tight communities to stay alive, with one group of magic users discovering the ability to use universal travel. Lewis, named after the Lewis flax flower or Linum Lewisi, was the son of one of these wizards. Lewis is slightly older than Frisk and dons a blue scarf given to him by his grandma and heavy-duty clothing due to living in the mountains, with the outside of the clothing being a warm, soft coat and the inside being metal armor. He also wears an amulet around his neck, granting him the ability to protect himself from harm and making portals directly back to his AU. Lewis is a very blunt young man and has incredibly strong moral principles, meaning that genocide or anything like that is a big no-no for him, although he isn't against self-defense, and according to the creator, he would be the great-grandfather of the Integrity Soul if he lived in the original Undertale universe. In combat, Lewis fights with a lot of snow and ice-based attacks, which makes sense due to his home being on top of a mountain. It gets cold up there. Overall, a very amazing OC that honestly deserves some kind of fan art. Lewis's world is an interesting one that makes a lot of sense when you think about it. The humans attack the monsters out of fear, so it makes sense that they'd turn their attention to the next unnatural thing. Anyways, this OC gets a very beautiful flower out of 10. Sam is a human with an amber-colored soul that lost his family for an unknown reason. After fighting Asgore and losing, he loses his soul in the process. That's when a previously dead human known as Strike combined his soul with Sam's body, creating a human with the power of 2 souls. Instead of gaining more power, Sam and Strike can switch control of the body, with Strike having the power of Sans with bones and gaster blasters, while Sam uses green saw-like abilities. Overall, 2 souls swapping control of one human body is very Moon Knight-like, which is really cool. This OC gets 2 different human souls out of 10. The player is a small, heart-like creature with a strange necklace and wing. The player possesses both arms and legs along with 2 big eyes. The creator told me that it was supposed to be based off of Bill's cipher, which makes a lot of sense, considering Bill's whole thing is controlling other people. This OC gets a very firm handshake from a Dorito Man out of 10. Finn is an annoying yet capable member of the Royal Guard that protects Hotland. Finn appears to be a sentient candle or chimney, and attacks with a magic train that shoots balls of smoke at you from the smokestack, fireballs, a glue gun, and a spear that looks like an X-Acto knife. In order to defeat Finn without violence, you need to rush at him, cheer him on, and then spare him. Overall, a very interesting monster OC who's also a Royal Guard member. We need a lot more OCs that act as members of the Royal Guard. Hell, even I have a couple. Anyways, the creator of Finn's channel will be in the description, and they've expressed interest of having their OC turned into a scratch game. So if you want to get in contact with them about that or any type of questions, their email will be in the description below and on screen now. Finn will get a beautiful arts and crafts piece out of 10. Bella is a young rabbit monster that lives in Snowden and is good friends with an ice cream guy. She has pink eyes, a yellow shirt, blue jeans, white gloves, brown boots, and an orange belt. She's also super obsessed with jewelry. Overall, a fun little OC that I could definitely see being an NPC in the Undertale universe. She gets a very positive nice cream message out of 10. Friziel is an ice and snow golem monster that lives deep in the Snowden forest in a cave like a hermit. Friziel is made out of snow and ice, with its head sporting a massive blue grin, with 2 ice gems acting as ears. It has a snowflake pattern on its chest with a large blue ice crystal in the center of its body, along with large ice claws and a beautiful fur cloak. You may be wondering, what does Friziel eat out in the woods all alone? Well, in order to survive, it enjoys snacking on rocks. Friziel gets a very delicious sedimentary rock out of 10. Henry, better known as Scott, is a young human with the soul of multitasking, which is the soul from the Nintendo Switch version of Undertale. He was created along with a small assortment of other characters that could be added to the Switch version. Anyways, Scott has red and blue hair, a red and blue striped sweater, blue pants, black boots, and blue headphones. As a weapon, Scott wields a Joy-Con with an extra long strap for range. A Switch-centered OC is incredibly interesting as a concept, and the creator went above and beyond with extra characters. Really awesome. This OC gets a Splatoon-themed Nintendo Switch out of 10. It's a silhouette that was created after a determination-related experiment erased the royal scientist, his green assistant, and a human child from everyone's memory and history as a whole. In the present day, because of the first human's disappearance, the human children who fall into Mount Ebit survive and live their lives happy and healthy throughout the underground. can reset, use knives made out of determination, gaster blasters, and mysterious hands. Overall, it's interesting to note that without the first human dying, the others would survive, because without the death of the first human, Asriel wouldn't be killed, meaning Asgore wouldn't be as hateful towards humans as he is in the main game. This OC gets a out of 10. Author is a very studious looking bear monster that owns the library in Snowden. He speaks in a very fancy font and keeps his hair very straight. He dons small round spectacles, wears a sweater, a white button-up shirt, and a tie. He also dons some pants and shoes. Sometimes he also wears a very fancy looking cloak. Within combat, Author traps you in a book and forces you to spell out words with different letters scattered around the pages. Overall, Author is a fun little OC that could definitely be in the game. I think it's really funny that there's a monster that's so passionate and articulate about his words that when he sees the library being misspelled on his building, he'd have an aneurysm. Overall, this OC gets a very lengthy novel out of 10. Goth Girl Temmie is an anthropomorphic Temmie that's also goth. All I gotta say is wow. Like, actually just wow. Goth Temmie gets a very light 11 out of 10. Texto was once a human child that got lost in a cave in the underground, around the time the human and monster war ended. The more Texto tried to leave, the more lost they got. Texto slowly went more and more insane, with the only food they could find being poisonous moss. Each day, Texto's body and mind became more and more deformed, and after decades of drifting aimlessly, Texto came across a monster in Snowden Forest. After spotting it, Texto quickly tore it to pieces and consumed its dust, granting them the ability to transform into the monster they just consumed. After relishing in the energy they received from consuming that dust, Texto began eating more monsters, luring them into the forest by mimicking their voices and becoming an urban legend. Texto has blocky arms and a blocky body, with a massive head and a question mark on their face. They also have no legs and large claws. Overall, Texto is a really cool concept as an urban legend in Monster Society used to scare kids. This OC gets a very delicious monster dust out of 10. Undertale Swaparoo is an AU where the most obscure and random characters in Undertale take the place of the main ones. In this world, the annoying dog takes the place of Sans, Temmie as Papyrus, Undine as Grillby, Caddy as Toriel, and Chris from Deltarune as Kara. Dog Sans can only bark at people, and in his fight, instead of turning your soul blue, he straps balloons on it in order to make it float. Dog Sans can also summon cars instead of gaster blasters, use the legendary piano artifact, break the game's code, and throw dogs at you. Honestly, a very cool concept, and I think that Asgore in this universe should be Jerry. It'd be awesome. This OC gets a bark out of 10. Jaden is a young human/cat hybrid that's capable of manipulating time using a magic pocket watch his great-grandfather gave him. The watch is capable of stopping, slowing, rewinding, and fast-forwarding time. It can even cause people chronophobia, the fear of time. He has pretty powerful abilities, but he's got a very crucial weakness. He is very afraid and flustered by beautiful women, causing him to stop attacking. A lot of Jaden's abilities seem to break the space-time continuum, but they all seem pretty intriguing. But like a lot of other time-related abilities, they can be a bit of a headache to wrap your head around. Jaden is 5'10", transforms into either a cat or a human at will, breaks the fourth wall, and acts very flustered around people he has a crush on. Jaden looks like an average fellow with a hoodie in his human form, but as a cat, he appears to be a calico with a puffy hoodie, padded shoes, and a paw print from his fiancée on his face. Wait, is Jaden getting flustered around women that aren't his fiancée? Oh boy. This character gets a time paradox out of 10 from me. Sintil is a fire salamander monster that worked on the construction of the core. He was around back when the core was initially being created, taking Gasper's place as the head engineer when he vanished. Sintil is also a very good friend of Alphys, aiding her in setting up traps for Frisk. He also admires Mettaton in a mechanical sense, believing that he's an incredible display of robotics, but other than that, he doesn't really care about him that much. In a pacifist route, Sintil tells Frisk about the path they need to take to the core, expressing annoyance at Mettaton for messing up everyone's work at the core, just to catch Frisk. In a genocide run, he aids Alphys in evacuating the population alongside shutting down the core to prevent a meltdown. Overall, a very awesome NPC OC that adds a lot of fun world building. This OC gets a GIF of Mettaton crashing out of 10. Dusttale Froggit is the first Froggit you ever meet in the underground. He was approached by Gaster, who told him about the humans' intentions of a genocide run. After hearing this, Froggit tried to warn everyone, only to get blown off by Toriel, and when Froggit tried to tell Jerry, he accidentally ended up killing him, as you do, gaining XP. After realizing what he did, he kept killing monsters for XP, even taking Thelhjk's shades. After getting enough XP, he kills the bosses in Undertale, gaining their powers. This Froggit dons cool shades, Undyne's spear on his back, and a chill smile. Somebody's gotta make a Dust Froggit fight, it'd be awesome. This OC gets a delicious fly out of 10. Suzab is a dog-like monster that acts as a mini-boss in the underground. He's a super big fan of Halloween and doesn't take many things seriously. However, he respects Asgore greatly and listens to what he says. Suzab dons a black beanie with a purple brim and an orange and yellow cloak. In battle, he uses Halloween-based magic, using ghosts, pumpkins, buzzsaws, and a lot of other things. In order to be spared, he needs to be given 4 pieces of monster candy. A good place he could be added in the game is when the player takes too many monster candies from the Ruins candy bowl. Overall, this OC gets a delicious bowl of Reese's Pieces out of 10. Hope Frisk, or Hope, is a human OC that despises her own name, wishing to only go by Hope as she doesn't want to be associated with the multitude of Frisks who committed genocide runs. Hope is half blind, wields a microphone as a weapon, and has a long purple tail. She also wears a pink and black hoodie, pink cat ears, black pants, and a cute little pink bow tie at the end of her tail. She's a cute little OC that I find really intriguing, especially the fact that she wants to reject her name Frisk. It's super interesting to see a character renounce their name out of shame for the pain it caused others. Hope gets a very solid gacha version of herself out of 10. Terry Fly is an alternate version of Jerry from a now cancelled AU known as Underpit. In this world, Frisk dies right before the end of Undertale, with the 6 human souls going missing and the entire underground being plunged into chaos. Later on, a new human falls into the underground and with the help of Flowey, hunts down the human souls in order to break the barrier, with the underground having transformed into a bitter and chaotic wasteland. Before the underground plunged into chaos, Terry Fly was both a gang leader and a novice coder, who initially applied for the position of royal scientist but was beaten out by Alphys. He used his men and resources to try and find scraps in the waterfall in order to create a powerful robot in order to challenge Alphys and take his rightful place as royal scientist. During the events of Underpit, one of Terry's men found the piano artifact, which Terry used to power up his new fighting robot known as Terry Stein Mark II. Using Terry Stein, Terry Fly and his gang managed to take over a large portion of the waterfall, creating a small fortress within the waterfall dump. Terry Fly is based off of the Earthbound boss, Frank Fly, supporting the same spiked up hair, mullet, suit, shades, and dual knives, with Terry wearing a massive tie as well. Terry is also quite adept at using these knives, being able to destroy both the fight and mercy button. Within combat, he's aided by Terry Stein Mark II and its continuous barrage of punches, making him even more dangerous. Overall, a very cool concept for an OC, even going back to Undertale's main inspiration, the Mother franchise. Terry Fly gets a very awesome 2 knives and really cool shades out of 10. Oscar is a depressed and anxious monster that was bullied by all the other monster kids in the underground due to his social awkwardness and unpredictable behavior. He was a victim of teasing and pranks due to his lack of reading ability and stutter, resulting in him becoming a very guarded person during his teenage years, taking offense to even the slightest of comments about him. Oscar is determined not to show any kind of weakness, and despite his guarded personality, his small circle of friends tolerate him, though they wish he could be a bit nicer. Oscar lives in Snowden and hates it in the underground, claiming that it feels too small. In order to make some cash, he also works at MTT Resort, but due to his personality and low self-esteem, he gets into a lot of trouble. Within combat, Oscar is quite adept at kicking due to being a rabbit. His enjoyment of kickboxing makes him an extremely skilled fighter with his legs, creating bullets with roundhouse kicks and more. Overall, a very interesting monster that definitely deserves some self-esteem help. This guy gets a therapist out of 10. Absorb Remade Sans is a Sans variant that dons a blue shirt, an orange scarf, red pupils, a green bandana wrapped around his waist, gray pants, and orange shoes. I don't have much to go off of, but he looks like a chill guy, so he gets a chill guy out of 10. Phew! That was a lot of OCs I just went over. If you guys liked any of them and want to make some fan art, email it to me and I'll feature it in a video. Also, I'll make sure that fan art goes back to the original creator of the OC. To anyone watching who wishes to send me their OC or make fan art, I'll flash my email on screen one last time. Anyways, like I said at the start, you all should be proud of what you made, because it was all very nice. Anyways, that's all for today. My name is Kustopia, and I will see you all in the next video.